Hello everyone. I'm YoungJin Kwon. And I'm a PhD student at the University of Minnesota, and I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited to walk you through our paper on large language models and academic productivity. So Anes Yang is assistant professor at University of Tennessee. And so I usually study blockchain economies, but today I'm going to talk about Gen AI. So as you can guess from the title, so we are talking about the potential audience of this paper is not markets, platforms, or firms, but the scholars itself. So everyone in this room is encouraged to interpret our results as well. And let me see. So your input is so important. So I usually start my presentation by showing some motivating figures and news articles and some figures and something like that. But I think for this time, I don't really have to show you such things because I think many of you in this room have similar questions while you are working, right? I guess so. So one day I was really curious. So I think I'm taking advantage of ChatGPT so well, but suddenly it came to my mind that are LLMs boosting academic researchers' productivity in general? So that is our main question. And a very natural follow-up question was, which research groups benefit more or less? So if I put this in a more academic way, I was curious about the distribution of the technological prosperity. So I think this is very important question. So because to predict how LLMs are reshaping academia now in the future, we really need to understand so which groups are benefiting more or benefiting less. And and many studies have found that researchers are actively using LLMs in their research. So, for example, Liang et al. 2024 analyzed about 1 million scientific papers and their abstracts and found that so there has been an explosive growth in the use of certain words like pivotal, intricate, showcasing, and round, something like that. So I think it's really ongoing, and this trend is very inevitable. So whether you like or not. And so I think this is also a very interesting figure as well. So they also found that among many scientific fields, computer science researchers are using the ChatGPT the most. So I think for me that was really interesting. So it really makes sense to me because computer science researchers are known to be very, very open to new technologies, right? So in the literature, it's not too difficult to find a paper showing the productivity gains for individuals, like for example, customer support agents and the college-educated professionals and Microsoft workers and even programmers, that they all experience in their productivity gains because of the AI in general or LLMs. However, there are some survey-based studies where they found that LLMs may promote workers' shallow engagement with the content and reduce the critical thinking or lead to even over-reliance. Or there is a really interesting recent paper that researchers are hesitant to use ChatGPT due to some potential risks such as lack of precision or over-reliance or hallucination or some ethical issues. So what I'm really trying to tell you here is that in academia, it's not crystal clear whether and how much LLMs are contributing to your productivity. So and also I think so compared to other tasks, doing research is relatively a highly creative process. And more importantly, oftentimes the time and effort do not directly translate into the outcomes, right? So in papers. So, and our literature review also says that there has been a very interesting debate over whether expert versus novice, who gains more. So there are two very famous experimental studies that shows higher skilled, more experienced, and individuals with higher self-meta knowledge are gaining more from using ChatGPT, right? But one recent field study shows that less experienced individuals are gaining more from using ChatGPT in their workplace. And so there's also really interesting field study that the authors use two different experience measures. One is task-based experience, and the other is just general seniority measures. And they found that the more higher task-based experience you have, the more benefit you get from using ChatGPT. So which is consistent with those experimental findings. But more senior you are, the less benefit you are getting from using ChatGPT. So that is another interesting findings. And they found that seniors tend to less trust in LLMs, ChatGPT, and so they tend to less adopt ChatGPT. So that is a mediates the effect. And there's also recent interesting survey that senior researchers tend to have a greater ethical concerns about using ChatGPT. So again, they adopt less. So what we learned here is that adoption is really a primary indicator to productivity gains. All right, so. And we also look into very interesting and important but underexplored comparisons. So which is non-native English speaker versus non-native English speakers. So who gains more? I think this is really important because in our samples, so about 40% of the computer science scholars are actually non-native English speakers, but if there is a systematic gap in productivity gains between the two groups, then the outcome would be enormous. All right, so there is a factor that favors native English speakers. So one is if the prompt is in non-English, then the expected outcome would be much less credible and much lower quality. So that is the problem, so which is a huge disadvantages for non-native English speakers. But however, non-native English speaker researchers report much higher LLM usage and much higher perceived benefits. So what I'm really trying to say here is it's really tricky and really hard to predict which groups are gaining more from using ChatGPT. And we will get to there in 3 minutes. And data. So as for the sample selection, so we first focus on computer science scholars because of their massive adoption and their, the domain is like a fast review process. So that's the reason. And we first compile a school list of 194 universities with the top ranked computer science program. So based on US News, top universities in US. And then we identify about 4,500 of scholars from the list. And then we collect entire Google Scholar archives for each individual scholar from year 2019 to 2024. So 3 years before and 2 years after the introduction of the ChatGPT. So we finally analyzed 250,000 of research papers, and which includes journal articles and conference proceedings and even unpublished working paper as well. So let's see the results. And so we found our first question is impact on research productivity, right? So in our simple pre-post analysis, we found that computer science researchers experienced about 8% of the increase in the productivity. So which is consistent with other measures like a number of top conference papers, etc. And so we also wanted to look at the yearly impact as well. So we are setting the 2022 as a baseline year. And we found that, as you can see in 2023, we found there was a 3% increase in the number of papers. And there was a 12% increase in 2024. So basically the effect is intensifying over time. And I think it really makes sense because it would take some time for researchers to adapt to new technologies and for the effects to emerge. And so actually our empirical setting, as you can see, does not account for individual level adoption status. So we cannot fully answer to the question like why and how this is happening. So that's so true. But if I visualize our estimates, as you can see, the trend is very similar with what we saw before, so trend of LLM-assisted abstract. So currently, so it's not perfect, but our current interpretation of the result is that first, the productivity boost seems to be largely driven by LLM adoption. And second, probably the paper writing might be one key area of the impact. So that's our current interpretation. All right, so as for which research groups benefit more, so surprisingly, we found that there are stronger gains for junior researchers in computer science domain. So more specifically, for each additional year of experience, we fact shrinks by 1%. So I think this is quite matches with what we saw in the survey. So senior scholars tend to less trust in AI, so they tend to less adopt AI. So probably they could give us this result. However, so no worries for seniors, but it is not updated in this table, but we also found that stronger gains for influential researchers. So so no worries at all. So, and yes, which is measured by citation numbers. So, and I think this is a kind of new dimensions that, to our knowledge, that hasn't been studied in the field of Gen AI. So I think, we need to do something to understand what exactly is going on behind the scenes. So we are working on that. And lastly, we found that the native English-speaking researchers are benefiting more from this than non-native English-speaking researchers. So, so we did a lot of methods like pre-post analysis and diff and generalized synthetic control, etc. But there's very consistent results we observed. So actually, this is exactly the opposite of what we expected. So because as a non-native English speaker myself, I really believe that, I really found ChatGPT is so helpful when doing a research. But anyway, our results is the opposite. So, so if you have any good explanations in your mind, so please, let me know after the presentation. And so actually our findings contradicts a kind of common belief that, so LLMs maybe re-level the playing ground for a non-native English speakers. But again, still, we don't know why this is happening. All right, so this is a summary of our findings. So as I said before, so I know that this is currently very at its surface level, and there could be many interesting potential mechanisms. So first, we don't know how juniors adopt LLMs more or less, and maybe it's less likely, but juniors maybe use LLMs more effectively, but I don't think so. And there are many possibilities, and more influential researchers may be good at using LLMs more effectively, but there could be also a network effect, so which means, there could be more collaborations with juniors, so I don't know. And even though non-native English speakers report much higher perceived benefits and much higher usage of LLM, but anyway, maybe native English speakers might use LLMs more effectively. So we don't know about that as well. So in a follow-up study, we plan to deep dive into the article level textual analysis such that we can infer if they really adopt LLMs when they're doing research. And we also plan to use more quality measures as well, something like topical novelty or writing quality. So that is our summary of our study. And thank you so much for listening. And I hope, this was very thought-provoking presentation. So Ravi.
Really interesting question. But I believe this is the
Yeah, so that is very good. Yeah, very, very good. Yeah, interesting question. Yeah, so for example, there are two, three papers in computer science domain that they developed a classifier based on non articles that does not use LLMs and does use LLMs by like acknowledgement, saying that they are using ChatGPT or not using ChatGPT. So they develop a classifier, and they use the classifier to classify each article level papers. Yeah. So does it answer?
So that's self-reported.
What's that?
So that's self-reported.
Yeah.
Classified screen on some self-reported usage of.
Yeah. From my understanding, so if my memory is correct, so in Liang et al, maybe the data is based on self-reported, label. The farthest one, please. Yeah.
Just a quick question. You're measuring the count of publications, is that right, for productivity?
Exactly. So actually, we use these three dependent variables right now. So number of papers, number of top conference papers like NIFS or ICML, something like that, and number of first author publication as well, especially for non-native English speakers. So maybe they are using writing the paper. So we use these three variables.
Yeah. So my question, and I'm just trying to understand something here. If you look at something like number of publications, that's a bit more unconstrained. There's a lot of conferences, a lot of journals. But number of top is a constraint. It's a finite set.
Exactly. Yes.
So if more people are publishing into those, then who is not publishing into those is the question I want to ask.
I know. Yeah.
All of us can be publishing more top papers. If we are all publishing more into those, who's getting kicked out of it?
Yeah, that is very interesting and very important. Yeah, so we know, as far as we know, there is like a limit for the top conference proceedings. So that's why we use the number of just paper as a main measurement, because this is something very tricky to count. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe they're just small papers because it's the bar for coming up with some new LLM paper is lower.
It really makes sense. That really makes sense to me as well. Yeah, it's really.
Last question.
Sorry. Yeah, last question.
Thank you. I was wondering if you could comment on your gender results in the previous talk. I think the gender results are not in your data set.
Gender. Oh, actually, that's also very interesting. So actually, we cannot classify the gender. So we extract their Google profile image, and we use this Python deepface package so that we can have a probability of whether this person is female or not. Yeah.
So how would you interpret
No, results. Let me pair. Probably I should go to the table. So you mean this table, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you mean the female probability? Negative sign for the number of top publications.
I was just wondering if you could comment on
Gender effects. Oh, that's very interesting area. But this paper, we just used the female probability as a control variable. So we are focusing on the productivity in terms of like junior or senior or like native speaker versus non-native speaker. So we haven't focused on female or versus male. Well, but that is very interesting area to discover. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you for your comment.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.